Hey folks, Trevor here from the Retro Blissed podcast. If you've not checked us out, we do a podcast about pretty much anything from the Atari 2600 up through the Dreamcast, with a focus more on the 8 and 16-bit era. We're basically a couple of idiots, but we have fun together. We play the games, sit down on the couch together, tell you if they're still good or not. And I just wanted to do a quick YouTube video because basically we have this YouTube channel for nothing because we're lazy as could be. But also I just got something cool today and I wanted to unbox it. So the Sega Saturn, we've covered a couple of Sega Saturn games on the podcast, but I personally love the Sega Saturn. I have a huge, despite it being a failed system, at least in North America, I have a huge love for it. Just a lot of nostalgia. I was a big Sega supporter up through the Dreamcast as long as I could be. But for those of you who had a Sega Saturn in North America, you know this is, if you were an early adopter at least, this is the controller you got. This controller gets a lot of hate today. I think maybe because of the D-pad mostly. I never had a problem with it. Maybe I'm not picky enough, but I really didn't. This is the one I had. Clicky L and R buttons. I thought it was cool. But if you lived in Japan, from my understanding at least, this is the general design of the controller in Japan. But also, this is the Model 2 controller in North America and other territories. Really, I'm talking out of my rear. All I know about is where I lived. This is not the original controller I got. I'm not sure in PAL territories if this was the original controller or not. But this is considered the Model 2 controller. And unlike the original, a lot of people in the know, so to speak, about retro gaming consider this possibly the pinnacle of your retro style controllers, you know, before the modern age, I guess you could say. And part of that is because of an absolutely incredible rolling D-pad, great buttons, you know, the 6-button layout, L and R button still, and it just feels wonderful in your hands. Anyways, to keep this short, what I got today is this. It just looks like a new Model 2 Saturn controller. But it's actually put out by Retrobit. This is a brand new product. And it looks remarkably, at least by the packaging, like the real deal. And so I think this is cool, and I'm going to open it up right now. I have not had my hands on it. I've heard good things about these, but I've not had my hands on it yet. Let's see what I think. You know, boxing videos are kind of a ridiculous thing, really, but I decided just to join the crowd and do it. Okay. No instruction manual, and there really doesn't need to be. And there it is. Pull out the blister pack thing here. And there we go. Okay, immediately, it just feels really good. It feels really good. The D-pad is still the rolling D-pad. Buttons feel great. Let's see here. Here's the original. Here's the new Retrobit. Wow. Very, very, very similar. One difference I noticed, I think the buttons don't really click. You can feel them pressed, but they don't really make an audible clicking sound on the new one. That's the only difference I notice and feel. The weight is darn near identical. And yes, this is officially licensed by Sega. Again, remarkably similar to the original. Heck, the screws are even in the same place, aren't they? Yep. But one thing I believe this has over the original is this is a very long cord. And yes, it does have the original Saturn input. You can also get a USB version if you play like on a PC or something. But this is for the original Saturn. This will work on my Saturn. That's what it's made for. And it has a 10-foot cord, it looks like. 10 foot. That's pretty nice. This feels great. Yeah. Don't have much else to say except tune in to Retro Blissed for some Saturn games coming soon. And maybe I'll do another video to let you know how this plays, but I'm super impressed. 20 bucks on Amazon. It's the Retrobit Sega Saturn controller.